The DJ Roundtable Show is live. It's the DJ Roundtable Show. Tell another DJ about the show. Please subscribe. Please subscribe.
It is Tuesday night. It is 8 o'clock. Do you know where DJ's at? I know where I'm at. I'm here with you. Yes, it's another round table. And as always, we appreciate you being here. And we appreciate all our friends being here as well. We have a new guest tonight. And then we have some returning DJs. We haven't had Matt on for a little while. Glad to see Matt back here. He's been busy running around like a chicken with his head chopped off. And if you haven't been following him on social media, on Insta or on Facebook or anything or YouTube, make sure you go to his YouTube channel. It's always linked down below. Follow also all social media, which is always great. Joe has been busy too. Chris is rocking out and actually just picked up a holiday party for his golf. It's a fun adventure watching his golf stuff. And then I have two other special people here. Sean Night Owl, aka DJ Business School. If you haven't done to his YouTube channel, hasn't put any videos up yet lately because he's been so busy because of what? His photo booth business. Not just his photo business renting, his photo booth business selling photo booth. That's right. If you're looking for a photo booth, guess what he has? Shipped out of Georgia, here in the U.S., U.S. support, walk you through. He has units ready to go. So if you're looking for it, link right there. Also, you see right there a code. You can go right there and go to it, DJ Roundtable. That is a promo code for that. Save $300 with that for a booth right now. That's off the $19.95 price. You get $300 off of it, which that right there is pretty cool. And also I have Dwayne Hitman Dixon. Of course, he has his show with DJ Mikey Mike on Thursday nights on Cue It Up. Make sure you go watch the show. It's always great. I was actually on the show this past week, and it was awesome. Sean's going to be on this week, stepping up your ideas for additional revenue for your business. And he has a lot of great DJs and guests on there. The other things, other shows also to talk about a little bit is Start to Spin, also on Thursday night. So you kind of can watch two or watch one and then watch a replay of the other one, or depending what you want to do. And on Wednesday nights, James King, he is doing the King's Court. Last week he roasted, I can't say roasted, but like reviewed a DJ. Very interesting. He also does a lot of speaker shout outs. He does a heck of a job over there. So you basically have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night busy, but don't forget, we're on the tubes. That's right. The YouTubes, or just the tubes, I call it. So if you're watching us on the YouTube, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the smash the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Plus, share the video with a friend. Is very, very important. That way it grows the channel. And if you are on YouTube watching this, thank you. I got some new subscribers. I appreciate that very much. And hopefully you always learn stuff. But tonight, again, I said I have a special guest. Ron is here. Ron is right across the border in Kenosha. So he's kind of Chicago DJ, but kind of not. You're across the cheddar curtain, so
yeah, I'm Racine. So yeah, I used to live in Kenosha for a little bit, but
okay.
Yeah, about 20 minutes from Milwaukee and about 90 minutes from Chicago.
Yeah, but you can get to Waukegan and Zion and Lake Forest, and you're in the northern burbs, no problem. You're 20 minutes away. You know, you can stop at a quick trip with a K, pick up something to drink, cruise on down, and hang out in Illinois without a problem, then run back across the border back to Wisconsin. Very, very easily. He's right there. He's kind of in the border area. And as always, we have a lot of fun things. And we have you out there watching the show. Thank you so much for watching. I have the chat up, so I'm reading stuff. And I see Mike is saying, good day all. Kevin's here. But always time to make a... I can't. What's going on there? Okay. He said, hi, Dwayne. Okay. Yeah, I see Mike and Dwayne and them are all talking in the chat. So make sure you're part of the chat there on Twitch. And again, we're live here on Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. And if you've got a question, put it down in the chat. You may have some questions coming up. This is the season that I always do enjoy because it's fall, which we have a lot of fall weddings, and trust me, I'm crammed with weddings. Um, it's running and running and running. Tracy is tired. Tracy's worn out. I know Sean's worn out. Matt's got some killer videos and pictures up. Chris is running around with a chicken with his head chopped off. Dwayne has been busy. Joe, I don't know if he's nonstop out there in LA or what. And it's been crazy busy. Ron, I want to ask you, have you been busy with weddings?
Yeah. I'm all the way until I think my last one for weddings is November. Oh, no. Actually, it's December 7th is my last wedding this season.
And actually,
Yeah,
I have a wedding this Saturday.
So here you go. So Chris has got stuff going on. Everybody's got stuff going on. But it's also one other season as well, another high wedding season. Oh, that's right. Joe has his cool thing, his audio-visual theta. Don't forget that. I got the link down below to Joe. He has, you want to step up your game? I almost forgot about you, Joe. I'm sorry. You want to step up your game for your either ceremony, cocktail hour, karaoke, whatever you want to do. That right there is the unit to get. Tablet, mixer, microphone, all real nice, clean. You see these guys with one little stuff stuck on a little tray. You want to step up your game? Boom, right there. And he also has legs for it too. So there's options. Talk to him. He'll get the right size. Tell him what you need. He will make sure it is the right size for everything. And he also is in California. Customer service can help you. The reason why I brought Ron on, because I always ask this time of year about the spooky, scary things that happen at an event. And always looking for paranormal stuff. It could be ghosts. It could be UFOs. It could be cryptoids. It could be anything out there that is not normal. And we all have seen probably something, or maybe we have not seen. I know I've seen stuff. I have run into things. And I actually talked to Ron. This is why I brought Ron on here. I talked to him about a whole nother thing that happened to me personally, not at a venue. But I wanted to hear, before I go to Ron, because Ron's got a really great story. And Ron is a paranormal investigator. So he has some stuff. He even sent me today a MP3 of a
EVP.
EVP. No, I'm reading what the chat is.
EVP.
MP3 of EVP.
Say that a few times,
Oh,
right?
it sounds like you're talking about me. Maybe I'm talking about you, Mike. You never know. But he is a paranormal investigator. We're going to go to his story in just a minute or two. But I want to see anyone here, and a show of hands, has anyone experienced anything weird this year since last year's episode that you would consider would be paranormal? Ghosts, UFO, scene. Oh, Joe. All right, Joe. Let's hear your story real quickly.
So everybody knows about the Queen Mary, right? In Long Beach, how it's supposed to be haunted.
Very.
What was crazy is that we did an event there, and I was taking pictures of basically the windows outside overlooking the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And when I looked at one of the pictures, I saw some dark shadows. And I was like, what the heck came out on my camera? So that was crazy. But I kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. So we went and set up upstairs. And my daughter went to the bathroom. And she said she placed her phone on the counter. And all of a sudden just shoom, like somebody just kicked it off the counter, fell on the floor. And she was like, what happened? So she told me about it. And I go, wow, I think it's real here. So then we're basically loading and going down one of the elevators. And you know how you get this creepy feeling that somebody's watching you?
Mm-hmm.
And you just feel it. You just like, you just look around like something's not right here. So that was an experience there. Another experience I had is in Hollywood. I guess they have a cemetery where they do the what do you call it? The movie night.
Hmm.
Well, that's another crazy experience that I was there, and for some reason or other, I mean, I was the only one left. Everybody had disappeared. 12 o'clock, everybody's gone.
Oh
Nobody's
my
around.
God.
I'm loading up, and all of a sudden, I start hearing noises that, coming from the inside where I was, and I know nobody was there because they had already locked it up.
Hmm.
So I'm just driving and just looking around, and it's just crazy because you have to drive through the cemetery to get out the gates. So that was my two experiences that I can kind of say was something that I will never forget.
I think I'd be scared of tripping over a tombstone. That would be my luck. You know what I mean? Wow, that's interesting. Queen Mary's very haunted.
But yeah, it was just ironic, take a picture and then you see these shadows.
Hmm.
And like, what is that?
Hmm.
The one thing, Joe, when that kind of stuff happens, again, it's you don't run into it every single day when something odd happens, and sometimes you chalk it up to, oh, it's this acting weird, or oh, it's just my nerves or whatever. But weird things happen, and sometimes there's no explanation for it. It just happens, and you kind of interesting. Did that really happen? You question yourself. And I've had stuff happen to me, um, and I question, did it really happen? Did you keep going over your mind, and you try to make logic out of it, and sometimes you just can't, and you're like, this is very, very interesting. Mike said he's at two venues. Both places uh, are haunted. One's a mansion, one's a manor. The one place burnt down, and the one wedding at the mansion, the let's see, the he says the kept the tables and chairs, and they kept tables and chairs in the attic. All of a sudden, I heard the chairs move and tables roll across the floor in the attic of this venue. And that's one of the things that, you hear stuff moving, you hear stuff moving around. You may see something out of the corner of your eye. And again, you may chalk it up as something that is just odd, but you never know. Uh, Chris, you got anything?
Yeah, what's been going on with Windows lately this last week?
Chris does IT. Chris does IT, and I'm sure that the sunset of Windows 10, forcing everyone to Windows 11, if your computer can do it, has been a fun time at his regular job of doing that. I'm sure that he's
Even my other business and my own personal lab computers, I'm still running Windows 10 on 3 units right now. So
I'm running Windows 10 on this computer right here, and I need to upgrade it for other reasons, but
I
still
will
it's
be
still running.
upgrading the 3 units up to Windows 11 after the Halloween season, literally the fall season. So right in the middle of winter, I'll sometime in mid December, November, I will upgrade all three. Give it a couple weeks, especially the DJing laptop. Right now it's running Windows 10. I have a major problem, so it's spooky,
I'm
you know.
sure. And Mike says buy a MacBook and all your problems will disappear. Yeah,
Of
no.
course, Matt will always say that.
No, Mike.
No, I'll
Mike.
never buy a Mac.
Yeah.
I have a
Mi-
PC and a Mac.
Macs
I
have
know
their
Matt
place, and
loves
it's
Matt loves
nowhere
Mac.
with me.
Dwayne, you got anything crazy have happened to you this past year since the last
Uh,
episode?
nope.
Sean?
I'm fortunate not to have anything happen to me.
Not Sean and not Dwayne, man. Matt,
Not
Matt,
Y'all are crazy. You guys are crazy. Don't
uh,
believe in that stupid stuff. Come on.
well,
I've had
Macs are
nothing
built to
ever happen to
last.
me
That's no, they're not.
supernatural wise, but
I can tell you they're not built to last. They have a shelf life like every single thing. Eh, everything has a shelf life. Um, so I want to go into because Matt's not here. I wanted to see if Matt had anything. So Ron, I know you and I were talking,
Mhm.
and do you want to explain to people how you got into paranormal investigation and how it ties into you being a DJ?
Well, I was DJing at the local Masonic building here in town in Racine, and I got done with an event. And I got up the elevator of a roller cart and started heading towards my car. It's like 20 degrees out. I'm freezing. And I load my Jeep up, not my Jeep, but my Dodge Caravan. And I had no mirror in the front window. It just fell off. You know how that goes. And but I had the two mirrors on the driver's side and the passenger side. So I got ready to back out. Now this lot is huge. This is not a small lot by any means. And I got ready to back out, so I just my right and I'm like, what the hell? And I was like, there's this tall man, like in like a trench coat and like a tall hat, like a Lincoln hat, like a top hat, like a tall fedora hat. And I saw him go from one mirror to the next mirror. And then me, I couldn't help not to want to confront this person because one, I almost hit him and it's cold out. So I got in my car to say something. He was gone. And that space, there's no way in hell somebody could have ran that fast. Impossible, because there's a church across the street, but you have a parking lot that's in between the Masonic and the building itself. It's huge. And now it's 2014, and I was sitting there thinking, like, what the hell? So started doing some research and things like that. And I had another event. I had a wedding about 6 months later, and I talked to Wendy Spencer that runs the building. Wonderful person. And I've always known the place was haunted anyway, but inside. And so I said, Wendy, I said, what's the deal here? I said, I explained what happened, and she's like, oh, it's probably Frederick. He hangs out on the staircase over there. And I'm like, but that's inside. He comes outside too. He goes, well, maybe, I'm not sure, but that fits the description. And then so she took me downstairs where they had all the photos at. And Case Company, the Case Tractors, they're from Racine. And then so you'd show me photos of them, the Case family, and things like that. And sure enough, this person looked like the same figure, everything, hat and everything matched to a T to this individual. And I'm like, wow. So so then after that, I started doing some research, and I found a Racine Paranormal Friends on Facebook, uh, uh, Facebook page. They weren't really doing anything with it much, and I was like, hey, I said, I was wondering if I could be an admin. I'd like to add some people into it. I'm really trying to figure out more about information about what's going on in Racine, especially downtown area. And like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I don't know what happened. The guy got jealous. I don't know what happened, but he ended up like taking the site down because we're all gathering up. I was just starting to network and started talking to people. And we ended up starting a team called Racine Paranormal Investigators. And then we went and branched out. I mean, that page is still up, but we also put on there, it's powered by us basically. So people kind of direct themselves to our regular, page. So, but now we're seeing Paranormal Investigators. So we've been together since 2014.
So when you deal with the oddities of something happening, what is what is your process? How do you process what's happening? How do you investigate? What are the things you're looking for?
Well, we walk in with an open mind. We never, look at the person and say, "Oh yeah, they're crazy." No, we actually walk in and
Oh man, bad word.
oh, sorry, bad.
Nikes.
I gotta fix
Okay,
that.
my bad. I'm sorry. Uh, so then thought that, maybe we'll look more into it and find out what's going on. And so we investigated, we'll do like a walkthrough and like a interview sheet um that they have to go by. They actually sign kind of like a waiver, letting us in their home. We basically interview them for the first investigation, but it's not really an investigation, it's more of a walkthrough. And then we walk around with EMF detectors, handheld detectors. They light up with EMF. I'm sure you guys know about EMF, electromagnetic fields. And so we measure that and see what it's like in the homes itself. Um, and then go from there. So, but that's the first process, and then we set up an investigation, and we go to the home, investigate, and see what we come up with. We try to debunk everything first. We never sit there and say, "Oh, it's this, it's that, it's demonic, whatever." We actually go through and see what it could be. It could be an old home, with the flooring. It could be just a creak in the floor that opens the door a certain way. It could be anything, and it happens. I mean, with high EMF in a home, it can cause vomiting. It can cause, hallucinations. It can cause everything. It can cause a lot of problems. Even at gigs, if you think about it, some of these places we DJ at, imagine how many times that you get like not feeling well or whatever at a gig randomly. It could be from high EMF in some of these buildings. Just thought.
There's a hotel in Schaumburg that actually it was in the news a while back that I'm going to say it's about at least 10 years, if not more. A DJ was loading in for a gig, and he unfortunately suffered a cardiac arrest, and they found him in the elevator, succumbed to it. And it's like, you know, people, unfortunately, some of these venues that we go to, hotels and stuff like that, people do pass away. And even at a venue, what was there beforehand, you never know because again, you could have anything there and you could have something going on at a venue. And this is when you have to kind of keep your eyes open for things and see there's something there that's odd. And I'm looking at some pictures here of the Masonic Temple. Very pretty place. Uh,
Very gorgeous.
the
It's
one
a
of the questions I have is how I see stairs in the front of the building. How do you get gear in and out of that venue?
uh wait, which one are you looking at? The front?
Yeah, the
And the
front.
back is in the back where the ballroom is.
Yeah.
There's a parking lot, and then there's the elevator up and down.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Because the front, I see
Yeah,
the
no, they
stairs,
don't
and
go
I
down.
see a door on the side, and it looks like there's a almost like a house on the back half or back quarter of the building.
Well, that'd be the front of the building, actually. Yeah, that'd be the front of the building. Yeah.
Okay.
There's two doors on the side with the parking lot.
Yeah.
One is kind of like a glass door,
Yeah, I see that.
and the other one is kind of like you go into the basement kind of thing.
Yeah, and then Lake Michigan is what, like a block away?
Yeah, about.
It's always interesting. When you go to venues, and if you saw something happening, do you kind of just take notes of it, or do you kind of like, hey, I need to do a little bit of investigating, or how do you do that when something happens to you, you're at a gig?
Well, believe it or not, I do some like somebody needs bar gigs too, and I'm like, hey, do you mind if I bring my group in? I just feel like there's something that could be here, especially being an older place and stuff. And a lot of venues be like, yeah, no problem, because they feed off that. You can make a lot of money, especially the whole ghost adventures craze and things like that. Not too much anymore. I mean, though they're still pretty popular, but some of these ghost shows, they've been popular for so long, and ghost hunting is actually just a big thing now. Still. But yeah, I go to some of the venues and I'll ask, and um, we have one that I knew the owner. He passed away. He had ALS, pretty bad, and he passed away in a couple months. It was crazy. Been wanting to investigate there and try to communicate with him. But yeah, I'll walk into a venue and like, hey, do you mind if we come in and investigate after a gig or something? Sometimes they're okay with it. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they don't want that. There's a place called the DeKoven Center. Beautiful place in Racine. And I've been trying to get in there for the longest to investigate. It's very haunted. But they don't want that attached to their name, I guess. So,
I actually have done a couple of venues at Racine. I actually did at the Racine Airport.
oh, that's a
The
big one.
The
The hangar?
Experimental Aircraft Association chapter, the hangar, did a
Yeah,
wedding
that's pretty.
there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool little venue, a little setup they have.
And the
They
other
do a
one
lot.
was
What are we talking
what's
about?
it called? The Covenant at it's a former
Oh,
church.
old church off Washington Avenue. Very
Yeah,
cool.
What are we talking about now?
Ghosts. The
Ghosts?
Covenant at Murray Mansion.
Hmm. Yep.
I've done a wedding there, and I didn't run into any problems there or anything like that. But I always try to kind of keep an open eye and open ear. But it's always interesting if something happens, what should you do? Should you take notes? Should you just take mental notes, or what do you think should be the first thing you do if you run into something that you feel is out of the ordinary?
I'll take notes, and like during downtime, like during cocktail hour, dinner, I'll just do a little search. I have a tendency of doing that. I'll just kind of check the place out, and um, like I said, I'll talk to the venue, see what their thoughts are and stuff. But I think as DJs, I was talking about the EMF stuff. That's some serious stuff for us, because we really need to start checking these outlets more before we start plugging our stuff in. You know, and I
Yeah,
think
and
that
that can
we just think
interfere.
because everybody else.
That can cause a lot of interference on gear having high EMF. So if it can screw your computer up, it can screw your
Yeah.
speakers up, it can screw a lot of things up. So should you go out and buy EMF meter? I mean, you could go looking for oddities, but I would definitely would say that I would leave over to someone who has done it for a while. But having a fluke meter and checking an outlet, or even there's some simple electrical measurements you can do. There's a couple things you can buy very easily from Home Depot that you can check and make sure you have 120 volts at 60 hertz or 119 volts, or it'll tell you the voltage in the hertz, and it'll tell you how many amps is available, and you can also check and see what circuit's on too. So it's not a bad thing. I do carry a fluke meter in my toolbox, because the fact that I always, if I know I'm running into problems with electrical, I want to check what's coming out, and there's something wrong with the outlet. Okay, hey, another thing I got was off of Amazon. I can't remember the name of it, but there is a little plastic, kind of looks like a little plastic out plug that you put in, and then you put the regular plug in there. It keeps the outlet more solid, so that way the plug doesn't fall out. Because sometimes you get outlets that run in and out all the time from
Oh, I don't know.
plugs. I gotta look at what it
Mhm.
is. I
That's
gotta
a
look what
great
the name
idea. I
is
never
on
heard
it.
of that before.
But yeah, I got that because someone said, hey, if you got a lot of problems with plugs falling out outlets, which I've had that, and they actually had to tape, gaffer tape on a cord onto the wall. Um, that right there is one of the things I'm
Yeah.
okay. It's really, really cheap. They're plastic, they're not non-conductive, and they're not going to hurt you or hurt the outlet. And you can take them, use them once, or you can leave it there, or you can take it back out and use it over and over again. There's a bunch of them, and it comes in a little pack. So give you some ideas on ghosts and stuff like that, guys. Out there, thinking something weird happens to you. Mike has been at a venue that has weird things happen to him. Joe has been to the, Queen Mary has weird things. Ron had his, big experience actually started him down the road of, you could say a ghost hunter, you could say a paranormal investigator. And I'm sure he has some more stories about stuff he's run into. And again, I had that MP3 of an EVP, and he's got a bunch of other stuff that it's he probably had to sit here 2 or 3 hours and just talk about all ghost stuff all night long, which is not a bad thing. But I want to get everyone else talking about stuff here too. And I want to thank you for coming in, Ron, and sharing that. And uh, welcome to the round table. And we love this, and we love DJs, but having a DJ that's a paranormal investigator, that's pretty cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh no, again, don't run off. Don't leave.
No, I'm not. I won't. Trust me, I won't.
Please. Um, so I wanted to touch on this one. I was talking to Sean earlier tonight, actually earlier today, and he wanted to talk uh, uh, about losing a gig and how do you handle rejection. So when you bid for a gig, and it happens to all of us, we all ask for a gig, and what happens when that person turns to you and says, "I'm sorry, you're not the right fit." Do you ask them why? Do you ask them any questions? Or you just say, okay, thank you, and move on? I know I do. Thank you, move on, unless it's something I'm like, that's kind of odd because it felt like they wanted to go with us. Sometimes I may ask, what was your decision? If they don't say anything back to us or anything like that, okay, fine, great. That's as far as I'll go. But 99% of the time, if someone says, hey, you know what, I'm going to go another path, another way, okay, God bless. I wasn't the DJ for them. How do you, Ron? I'm going to hit with you first because you're the guest here. How do you handle rejection? What happens when someone rejects you and goes to DJ down the street?
Well, usually when I first make that contact, I tell them, and when I first have my meeting with them, I say, hey, you have 10 days to decide whether if you want to work with me or not. After during the 10 days, you're locked in. After the 10 days, if you're not interested, please let me know so I can open the date back up. And then they'll say either they'll book me or not. If they don't, they're like, okay, well, thank you. I'm going to open the date back up. And if there's anything I can do to help you out still, I'm more than willing to help. I still offer, assistance when I can, because you never know that they may plant that seed of say, wow, he's even willing to help, even though I'm not going to book him. So
And that's one of the things is being
that's what I
professional
do.
about it because you're not everyone's, they're not everyone's your client and not everyone's going to
No.
hurt you. Does it stink sometimes? Sure, it does, because it is a form of rejection. But the thing is that, it's also another thing that I look at is, were they worth as a client? Were they worth, the the hard work and the hard labor for that gig? And that's one of the things you got to look at and say, is this right? Is this wrong? I'm going to go over to Matt. Matt, how do you, when a customer says, I'm sorry, I'm going to go to DJ down the street, how do you deal with that? How do you handle that kind of rejection from a customer?
I just let it go. I don't try to chase it. I most 99% of the time it's price, you know. 1% of the time it's because I spelled their name wrong on the contract. Um, um, but um, only one time have I like actually chased somebody and been like, why the fuck? Oh, sorry. Um,
Now,
why the
second
heck?
time, now I got it.
Bleep.
Beep,
Why
beep.
is it? Why is it? Um, like I had one that was like a lock, like for sure, and like I made a contract for them, and then like last second they're just like, oh, we just didn't feel like you were the right. Like they just said they went in a different direction. I'm like, oh, can I ask why? Oh, we just don't feel like you'd have the necessary tools for like our music prep. This was like the one where they were like, oh, they wanted somebody with Vibo, something, some, I don't know.
Something they thought was going to make their life easier, but it's not actually going to.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, and again, like I said before, sometimes those customers like that, they're just not, they're not your customer. Is it worth, as they say, is the juice worth the squeeze? And sometimes it's not worth the squeeze. And those customers who are going on to DJ down the street, they feel that they're a better fit. Okay. All you can do is say, okay, God bless, and continue on and go on to the next gig. The the other thing also is that I always look at is when I hear about other DJs, how other DJs react, and it's always interesting to hear things. And I want to bring in Sean for this one because he's the one that brought this. Sean, How do you react to when someone says, "I'm sorry, we're not a fit, we're not a good connection here for the DJ," and they go to someone else and they reject you and they say no to you? How do you react to that? And if you want to also touch about what we were talking about earlier, that would be also cool too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll start with like prompted this. We were just talking. There was a post I'd seen a while back, and this bride essentially blasted this DJ because when she let the DJ know she was going another direction, the DJ started blowing up her DMs, literally like harassing this girl. Why aren't you choosing me? I gave you the cheapest price. Nobody's gonna beat this. I'm such a good DJ. Why would you choose anybody else but me? And like this girl literally felt threatened by this DJ um, for acting like this. He repeated messaging her, and she said she finally blocked him, and then took to social media and let everybody else know what a creeper the guy was. So that's kind of what prompted the idea for this topic. And then our process, whenever client lets us know, um, first of all, thank you for at least letting us know. So much better than just the ghosting. But we just have a short little follow up we send them, like, hey, thank you so much for at least considering us. Can we ask what your deciding factor was in making this decision? Sometimes you get an answer, sometimes you don't. But at least then why did I potentially lose this gig? Is it something I said, something I did? Was it just price was the deciding factor? Case like Matt's where you don't have something specific they're looking for. But we follow up with every rejection and why didn't you choose us? What was that deciding factor? If they don't answer, they don't answer. I mean, I'm not going to hound them for it, but it's still a useful piece of information for you to have in knowing why they didn't choose you and they chose your competitor.
And that right there is an important thing. Marketing is very crucial in our business, and we're small business people. And having the right touch and having that right feel to it, I feel is an important leg up on competition. And you need to know why, sometimes why you lost it. But if that again, if they said, "Hey, I'm going to go to DJ down the street," okay, fine, great. Again, wasn't your fit. Do you want to know? Hey, that's sometimes good. Ron, you have a thing?
Yeah, I also want to say something too is that there's nothing wrong with us as DJs rejecting a client.
Yes.
You know, I think I think some get so caught up with, I got the gig, I'm gonna get this gig, I'm gonna get that gig, and sometimes you're not the fit DJ for them, and sometimes you're the one that's got to say something. So I mean, never be afraid to reject an event that either you're just not comfortable with or you just don't feel there's a connection. There's nothing wrong with that.
That is very true. And I've done that a few times. Had a bride, we met at a wedding show with her mother, and we told her at the wedding show, we're not the right fit because she wanted to know every single song that we were going to play the whole entire night that we couldn't play. I'm like, nope, we're not the right fit. We're not a glorified iPod. We're
Yeah.
not, we need to look at what's happening, what's going on. Oh, by the way, I put in the chat the link to Amazon to the loose outlet fix plug 15 pack. They got a 15 pack, a 20 pack, and a 30 pack. It's $5 for 15 these little plastic little parts that help hold the plug into the outlet.
Unfortunately, those aren't going to work everywhere.
No, but again, you always
have the
try.
recess outlet plugs. Those have to be for the Deco outlet plugs that are completely flat. And a lot of the ones near me, or even the ones that are 20 amp circuits, they're not going to work.
Well, if you're doing a 20 amp plug, you have one sideways plug, one straight. But if you got a 15 amp,
But if you're plugging a 15 amp plug in on it in a 20 amp circuit, that's not going to help you. Those little adapters. It's just that outlet is capable of handling 20 amps. That's all.
I've used it a couple times, so again, you guys see if it works. Again, it's a tool in the toolbox. Doesn't mean it's going to work for everything. So, Chris, since we're talking about outlets and plugs and stuff like that, how do you handle when someone rejects you for a business for a gig?
Well, I guess it depends upon what process step we're in when they don't want to. If it's just right off the bat and all they want to do is just ask for price, 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 and they just don't want to give details about their event. And I said, well, I'm sorry, I'm not here just to listen to you asking about a price. I want to know about when your event is, what type of event, at least the basic details, just so I could tell you if I'm available or not. Otherwise, they're just wasting my time. That I'm not a robot, and you could always look on most DJs advertise their packages for weddings or for some parties right on their website. So why should I waste my time when you're not going to give me details on your event? At least the basics of when it is, start time, end time, and where it's located. I mean, that's the bare minimum that a DJ is going to know. I said, oh, you're going to an event that's way out of my service area or where I really need to travel to. All right. You got to ask those reasons because we could just say no as quickly as they can say no,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So, I mean, I'm going to be doing an event for you and I need to get into your life just as you're going to get into mine, you know? We're going to be very personal. We're going to find details about each other, what else we do. I mean, obviously, I don't just DJ. Everyone knows I now do IT work. Now I have this mini golf business, you know. It's a lot of other things that I handle, you know. So, and they're going to know that. So you're going to be in their life. You're going to be a big part of their life. If it's a wedding, if it's their daughter's sweet 16, you know, quinceañeros, bar and bat mitzvahs, you're going to be in their family. You know, it's a family business. So we have to keep it very personable, you know, and lighted and say, you know, you do the daughter's sweet 16, you do the 18th birthday party, and then guess what? You're doing their marriage, you know, their daughter's marriage. So
I
you're
got
not
you.
repeat business.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
I have a story to tell. This past weekend, I've been DJing for almost 30 years, and so when I was 14, I went to a teen dance at a racquetball club that we used to all go swimming to when I was a kid, and I was about 14 years old or so, and the guy that owned it, long story short, he hosted a teen event, and I saw these DJs, and of course back then we didn't have social media, barely had video. You know, nothing was ever on TV about DJs except for when we saw on the Grammys or something like that. We got a glimpse of the Jam Master Jay or something like that, or Jazzy Jeff,
Scribble.
Scribble. Yep, Scribble too. But nothing real close up or whatever. So I get to this dance and I'm just like, I'm seeing everything. I'm hearing scratching, but I'm seeing it happen. I've never seen that before. You know, it's all new to me. I'm like absorbing all this, and I just fell in love with the business and the art of DJing. And long story short, the guy that owned the racquetball club passed away in 2000. He was accidentally buried alive in a construction site, unfortunately. And long story short, later on in life, I knew the kids from the high school I worked at because I worked at a high school for 19 years, which I booked a lot of weddings working in a high school, which it paid off definitely to work there. But then just past Saturday, I DJ'd his son's wedding. So it's like full circle for me. You know what I mean? That the fact that I was able to DJ their wedding, but yet his family is responsible for getting me into this whole thing. You know, it's crazy. Like you're saying, the connection, you know, we're part of their lives. And sometimes we don't realize how far we're part of it, you know, as DJs.
Very, very true. And we touch a lot of people at events that we do. And I know who else touches a lot of people because he's also a former educator and was a teacher for a long time. Mr. Dixon over here in Ohio. Was a music teacher for many years, teaching kids in many grades the love of music, and he's been in music for a very, very long time. But Dwayne, when you get rejected by a client, what do you do? Is there anything you do? Do you ask, hey, you know, why you rejected me, or do you just say, okay, thank you very much, have a good day, and thank you for telling me? What do you do?
No, I have a canned response, and that response is usually I try to thank them for, you know, at least talking to me. Then I also try to wish them well, and also then I also put in somewhere in there if they need any help or my services down the road to call me back. So it's basically like that. I look at it like this because I'm like a Christian mobile DJ. So my whole thinking is when God closes one door, he's about to open another one for me. So that's the way I've been looking at it lately. But going back to like when I first started, DJing, and so I got rejected, then I felt some kind of way. But now I usually don't. And then two, when you meet with the person, the client, usually through your conversation while you all trying to, fill each other out, you can kind of like sense a vibe of whether or not that's going to be a good fit to begin with. Either the price is going to be too low, or they're going to ask you to do a bunch of stuff that may be more of a pain as opposed to a reward. So that's how I look at it. I just thank them, wish them well, and then move on.
And sometimes again, well, most of the time that's what I do. If they ask, I'm like, okay, thank you. You know, again, sometimes it's price, sometimes it's not the right fit. It could be a couple that wants something that you don't normally do or you can't do. Mike said most of the time the client goes a different direction is price, and they come back to you asking if you can match the other DJ's price. I've only had that happen to me once. Other than that, I don't have people come back to me ask if I can match pricing. I asked them the price, and 9 times out of 10, it's a no. I can't match that low of a price. And again, it's one of the things that I've had to happen to me once. Someone calling me up back up and saying, "Hey, can you match DJ down the street price?" And I was like, "No, I have my price on my website. It's public, anyone can see it. And the reason why I have that down there, so I get less people, they want a lesser expensive DJ that doesn't do what I do. Fine. If they do the same thing I do and they're a lower price, hey, fine. They charge what they feel they're valued at. And that's one of the things you have to look at is what you feel your value is. And again, it varies from market to market, but it's one of the things that you got to look at that stuff. And Joe, I want to go to you. How do you deal with when someone rejects you on an event?
Oh my God, after doing this 47 years, let me see how many times. No. Um, so there's a lot of factors involved. I think Matt hit the nail on the head when he said price, but also because I've taken a lot of courses, marketing and sales, attended the Wedding MBA, the mobile beats, the MEX, the seminars, you tend to learn a lot more about emotional aspects of connecting with the client. If you could connect with them on the phone or meeting them in person, you're halfway there. My biggest thing, and I asked the client, I said, how did you find us? Because that's a key point. If they found you through social media, through your reviews, you're basically on the, I want to say, top 5 list of vendors that they're looking to hire. If there's somebody they recommended through a family or friend, and they're looking for the best price, I may not be that guy, but I do have other DJs that work with me that I can, at least I don't lose the event. I can refer them. And I also, if you need us for any future events, please contact us. But I mean, the key point is not to be offended, to find out what exactly their needs are. And as Ellenberg would say, I want to provide a service for you. I don't want to sell you something that you don't want or need for a successful, memorable event. So again, we go back to the emotional aspect of the sales. You have to really adjust your, how would I say it, your communication, whether it be a male or female, because females are all about, shopping. What's important to you? for your event. Give me your vision. Close your eyes and let me understand what you want. What do you see your event is like? Because it's all perception of value. If they found you through social media, that means that they did their homework and now they're down to maybe the bottom 3 guys. And I've lost several events because they hear you, they talk to you, and then they do the price comparison with another DJ. Can you do what this guy is offering or less? Why, sure, you know. And I'll leave it at that. And either they'll ghost you, they won't contact you back. But I'll always like to let them know, hey, it was great talking to you. Thank you for your time. Once again, if you need us for any future events, please let us know. If anything happens, please call us back. Because a lot of times, and I want to say there's that 20% that they're going to call you back because at the last minute, this DJ found another gig for more money. And what do? You're already booked. So at least you have some guys that you can basically recommend. Because again, if your network and you know who can do what, because you don't want to oversell yourself and provide something that you don't have. Oh, I can do that. I can do that. And you show up and they go, well, what happened? Where's all the equipment you promised us? Why don't we have this? Why don't we have that? Now you have to backpedal. And then if you're review based, that's going to hit you hard because that client's going to come back and slam you, on your social media. So once again, I don't take it personal, especially at my age, because I do a lot of events. But I mean, I want to say I'm 70 years old, and for me to do a lot of quinceañeras and sweet 16s and basically talk to the parents, because again, it's that emotional aspect. Hey, you're having your baby delivered. You want a specialist, somebody that's been doing it, deliveries 1,000 kids, delivered 1,000 babies, or somebody that has 10 under their belt. This is your precious daughter that's getting, having her event. So you kind of have to really get into the emotional aspect of finding out what their needs are and making that contact with them, that connection.
And
once again, rejection, no problem. It's okay. I hope you find somebody else and good luck.
and that's a key
when
part.
they give you a call. Oh, sorry, my bad.
Go ahead, Ron.
I was gonna say when they give you a call after the gig, like, we should have hired you. Then you're kind of like, well, sorry.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
There's
That's a
not much
key
you can do
thing.
about that.
That's a key thing that, people, it's an emotional connection when you talk to people, is that you showcase how you're professional, how you understand things, how you can benefit them. And again, you are correct that it is, and I heard someone else talk about it before, it is a perceived value, what your perceived value is. If they just look at you as a glorified MP3 player
Box.
or a Spotify player, okay, fine, great, no problem. That's what you're looking at me as. You don't put a lot of value. You put value in my expertise, my understanding. I've done this event multiple times. You can actually do very, very well. And Mike said here the worst, the DJ for family. I was supposed to DJ my brother-in-law's 70th birthday party, and my niece canceled on me at 11 a.m. in the day of the party. Sad thing is, I passed up a wedding for that date. That sucks.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
That sucks.
But you know what? The following weekend, you'll get another gig that pays well. Make it up.
Hopefully, again, at morning of, yeah, that's no one's going to call you at the 11:05 right after you get the phone call with your niece saying, "Hey, I have a DJ. I need a DJ tonight. Can you come DJ my wedding?"
Here's that problem with doing events for family. It's family, especially that close. You really probably shouldn't charge them, but they also got to understand that they're stopping you from making your living. Okay, and they should not be canceling you, and that's definitely a bad taste on the family for canceling your event and not paying you for service, because this is your bread and butter. This is what makes you live every day if you're a full-time DJ. Even if you're not full-time, this is the extra that lets you have the extras in your life to either one, afford a bigger house, afford the vehicle that you want or need. And if you don't have that opportunity to make that money, they definitely can't do that. I mean, it's horrible,
Yeah, I've had family that basically said, "Hey, we should be doing it for free," and I go, "Well, look, okay, so are you gonna make my car payment?
Yeah.
Are
You
you
make
gonna
my
pay my
rent? Are you
insurance?
paying for dinner for
I'm
the
running,
next 2 weeks? Yeah.
I'm running a business. This is not something that I do as a hobby.
Right.
It's a business."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you got bills to pay just like everyone else does, and it's it's one of the things you have to decide what is it, what you're trying to do. Helping out family is one thing, but sometimes they can ask for a lot, and
But they should not expect it for free.
Yeah.
That's the one thing they should not
that's
expect.
that is up to
It's
you.
up to you if you wish to give them a huge discount and say, you paid me. This was an easy event. You made it light and easy on me. Here's half the money back. Thank you. Here's my gift to you. Okay? Because now that's found money to them and you still have money, but you also enjoyed now working with your family. That experience is irreplaceable when they do make it easy and they make it pleasurable, because then you do want to do more events for family and they understand that you need to make money, but we still have to make a living too.
Well, wait a minute. You didn't charge Uncle Bill. Why are you gonna? Why are you gonna charge
Always
him?
charge. Tell them what you got to show them what the value is. You're losing. You got to show them what you're losing by doing this.
Uncle Bill got it for free. Uncle Bill got it for free because when I was a kid, I broke his arm.
What about Uncle Bob? Uncle Bob.
Bob's at the casino.
There you
Bob's
go.
at the casino. There you go.
A couple of things real quickly before I get to Nathan over here, because Nathan just joined us. The rest of my in-laws thought I refused to DJ at the party. Then I showed them the text for my niece canceling me. I told my brother-in-law this party cost me $1,800 because he didn't get a wedding. That can happen. So Nathan, how do you handle rejection? Yeah, Nathan, how do you handle rejection when someone calls you up and says, "Hey, I'm sorry, I'm not going to go with you," whatever the reason is? But how do you handle it? How do you deal with it?
I think if I've ever been rejected, I'm sure. Well, I'm sure.
Wow.
No, like I meant that, like for real. Like then I think I have been, because I've had people that'll call me and they'll come and talk to me, or I'll meet with them, and then they'll be like, this is what we're looking for. And I'm like, okay, well, this is my package prices for what, kind of similar to what you're looking for. Say it's $1,500 or $1,800 or something like that. They're like, oh, okay. And then we talk a little bit more, and they, and then at the end, I'm like, so do you want to book, or do you want to go ahead and move forward with this? And you're like, well, we've got some other people we're meeting with, and we'll get back to you. I'm like, oh, okay, great, awesome. And then like, either if we meet out in public and I leave, I get in my truck, I'm like, yep, I'll never hear from them again. They want a $500 DJ, and I'm not their $500 DJ. So.
Yeah, and
that's $500 an hour, DJ.
Yeah, I wish. But it's I don't know, and I tell people this, and I don't know if you guys do this, but like when I'm sitting there and I'm like, look, before I tell you my prices, I'm going to tell you this: cheap DJs aren't experienced, and experienced DJs ain't cheap. I said, if you want your event to go over flawless, I mean, I'm not trying to say this to be mean or to come over like that guy, but you pay, you're gonna have to pay for it. Like I always use apples to oranges, or a Bugatti to a Chevy Impala, or I tell them, if you're wanting something nice, you're not going to go out and spend $500 and expect to have a Bugatti. I mean, you're gonna have to if you want that Bugatti, you got to pay for it. Kind of like fuel prices. Fuel price, I always bring that up to them. I'm like, fuel prices, maybe $3.80. Um, I mean, yeah, you don't want to pay that, but you do, because if not, you're going to be walking. So, and I try to, just show them that I'm not the only thing that's expensive out there. And I always tell them, hey, if I could do this cheaper, like the 80s or 70s or the 60s or the 90s, I would. But I said times have changed. And a lot of people, they'll be like, yo, no, I get that. And, I'm like, I'm not trying to be mad. Like, this is, I've got insurance, I've got help that helps me set up and tear down. I've got my time, my equipment. I tell them, like, look, I'll pull up pieces of equipment and be like, this is what it costs to replace that equipment if I was, to have an issue, or what I've got into it. And, just because I spent $3,000 on a speaker doesn't mean I've made $3,000 with it already. Just because you go buy a speaker or any type of DJ product and say it's $3,000. We'll use this. We'll use the QSC 118 subwoofers. They're $2,500 a piece right now. My buddy just bought two of them, costing $5,000. So just because you bought that and say you booked a $6,000 or a $5,000 wedding, that doesn't necessarily mean you just paid those subs off, because you've got other expenses that come out of that $5,000. Yeah, you may have added, a little bit of, taken a little bit off. You may have taken, $500-600 off of what you've spent on those, but that's when that $5,000 doesn't actually go all the way back to being like, okay, well, I've officially paid these off or whatever. So
Well, that's
it takes
why
time.
your
You just
pocket
don't.
directly.
Yeah, that's why, Brightness Red has said many times that you should know your costs before you go out. When you buy new gear and you invest money into new gear, that you right there, your cost has gone up. So, if you have invest 5,000, 6,000, 8,000, or you want to get those new baseball speakers, which I'm sure Matt's probably got on his list for $16,000 for the set. Um, he
He's over there laughing.
he's gonna
He's probably looking at them right now in his house, because he did the little glass thing and he looked like, oh yeah, they're right back there.
Yeah,
Hey,
I gotta hop out, but no, they're only 14,000 with my Guitar Center guy, and I would get them in a heartbeat. But got
Before you
some.
go, Matt, it's good to see you again back on the show.
Yep.
All our prayers are out to you, buddy.
Thank you. Keep them coming. It's
See.
going through some crazy now, so
Oh,
Good luck.
come
Take
on.
care.
trying.
Stop it.
It's at the end of the show.
I
Holy,
Oh,
holy
someone-
bleep!
have a question for you guys.
I said
How
crazy
many-
stuff.
How many of you
See you later,
guys?
Matt.
All right, bye.
How many of you guys have had a client call you back and tell you, you know what, we're gonna have to go with you after all because our DJ doesn't have insurance?
Wait, they're gonna have to go to with what?
They're
gonna have
basically
to
saying that they booked somebody else, but then their DJ doesn't have what their venue requires, and now they need someone that does. So now, will you do this? So now they probably paid a deposit to that DJ, which is probably non-refundable. And now they're calling you back saying, "Hey, can you do this?" And I mean, I don't know what I
Here's
would
what they
do
can
if I
do.
wasn't.
They
that
can
happen.
just,
I've had
if
that
they
happen
really
to me
want that
several times.
DJ and save face, they can always get their own insurance for their DJ. It's a couple $100 to save face.
Event
To have him
insurance, I think,
covered.
is what it's called.
But
You can do
it
day
just tells
insurance.
you, that the DJ that's basically trying to do it, isn't a pro. Bottom line, they're just doing it as a hobby. Because they just don't have it. I mean, you can get it, but a lot of times if they require it and they call you back that our venue is asking for insurance, this guy can't provide it, it's because he doesn't want to pay for it because he gave them such a huge discount. So they come back to you.
I always get a bang out of it when I hear that, and the thing I always come back to it is, and we should do an episode on insurance. I gotta get my insurance agent to come in.
Please.
It is one of the things that I always say this, and I say this all the time when I hear about DJs not having insurance. You wouldn't drive down the road without insurance on your vehicle, and DJs who just get liability insurance, that just protects some things, doesn't protect everything. Just like you would want full coverage on a vehicle, you'd want full coverage in your business. Talk to your insurance agent. Make sure you have good coverage, because no one, if something happens, no one's ever complained that they had too much insurance at the time it happened. They complain about, I had paid this much money out of my own pocket. I had paid this much out of the deductible. I had paid this or I had paid that because I didn't have enough insurance. But no one ever complains about, my insurance covered everything. Oh my God, I can't believe they covered everything.
Then if
So
that's the
with
excuse for us to use, okay, to clients that, hey, insurance costs this amount, but then they gawk at your price, well, then they bring up the insurance. Oh, the venue wants insurance. Well, so sorry, you're not paying for insurance because you didn't want to pay my price. I mean, that's a whole nother another foot in their mouth that, you know what,
Yeah,
kaputs, you know?
I use that as part of my sales pitch also, is that we are insured, because it tells them, oh, okay, you know what? The venue is requiring the vendor have insurance. So that's
that's
just
an important
an
thing.
added bonus.
I do the same thing. I always tell, when we talk to couples, we're fully insured. We have business insurance that more than covers any venue. If there's something special the venue requires, my insurance agent can adjust things. If there's a huge cost involved, I may have to charge you more. Sometimes, insurance venues may require additionally insured. And if it's, one or two, most insurance companies usually don't charge. But when you run into, like one of the venues I ran into this year, I have 6 additional insured. So 6 additional entities insured onto my insurance as additional insured. So there was a charge for that. If it was like 1 or 2, they wouldn't charge. But because of that, there was an additional fee. It wasn't
That's
much of a
another
fee,
future
so I
problem. We
didn't.
got to get an insurance agent on here, buddy.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother problem because
Well,
things are changing in that industry. And I'll tell you, it's more on the venue's fault that they don't have insurance because they won't put us on their insurance.
nope. You should have your own.
And I said, well, then you got to put us on insurance if they want us, if they want them on our insurance. So, I mean, that's just it. I mean, what's the
Yeah.
liability factors now? That's a whole new picture.
And the other
Especially
part
every
is
state is
the other.
different.
The other part also varies from state to state, because every state has different insurance laws, what is covered, what's not covered. So that's a whole minefield right there. So again, if I can get an insurance agent on here, my insurance agent, I keep bugging her. She's pretty busy, but one of these days I gotta get her on here. Hopefully, maybe in before the end of the year, get her on here, because then she deals with tax season and all the tax stuff she has to deal with. Because
I'll
insurance,
give you, I'll lend you
taxes.
$5 to pitch in to have her on.
I think she'll come on for free. She's
For
really
an
she's
hour.
awesome.
Come on, how much is an hour worth to her? You know, for us.
She's pretty awesome. So, with that
That's
said,
good.
we're gonna stick a fork in this one tonight. Again, I gotta thank Ron. I gotta have Ron back here again because he's got some great stories. Plus, again, some great ideas as a DJ.
Welcome back.
I definitely gotta have you back on here. Don't run off, don't run away. But I am going to have tonight take us out is Dwayne, because I like Dwayne, and Dwayne, I will tell you, he has one of the best voices ever on the microphone. It's always awesome. Joe has a good voice. Everybody here has a good voice. I don't hear anyone here has a bad voice, but Dwayne has this awesome voice. It's like, it just feels like home. And that's why I want to go is back home. And I want to have that nice, rich, wonderful sound from Dwayne to send us out tonight. So Dwayne, do me an honor, brother, and send us out.
All right. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us here on the DJ Roundtable with Buddy. And I hope you all have a great week. Make sure you join us again live here on Twitch. And for those that's watching the replays, if you don't see us live, you can always join and watch the rebroadcast on Buddy's YouTube channel at TBM Productions DJ1. So take care, stay blessed, and I'll see you all next week.
Don't forget to tune in Thursday night. Cue it up. Don't forget him and Mikey Mike, both of them over attacking. Good night, everyone.